Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be installing Devuan, or that Devuan, that thing, on an Atomic Pi. If you haven't heard about Devuan, then please go check it out at devuan.org. And if you haven't heard of Atomic Pi, then yeah, check out the Atomic Pi. They're on Amazon for about $30.82, something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're doing here is we're getting this booted up. Now I did turn off Secure Boot. And I went through and let me grab the controls here. And I went through and selected the USB boot. So we do have that going for the Atomic Pi, and this is the installation. So we have install advanced options and install with speech synthesis. I'm going to go ahead and look at advanced options just to see what those are. Now over here we've got expert install, rescue mode, automated install, expert install with speech synthesis, etc. And so I'm going to go on down and choose automated install. And this is going to be the first time for me using, this is Beowulf, this is a release candidate, the first time for me using Devuan Beowulf with an automated install. So let's see what happens. Now I am installing server. This is Devuan server. So this is not the graphical interface version. I am installing this on Atomic Pi, and I want to use this for high availability and pretty good performance on a front-end Nginx server. So we're going to see how this thing runs. Hopefully it'll run really well. In my prior tests using Devuan, it's run extremely well. So we'll see how Beowulf works. And just a note, if you are installing this on an Atomic Pi, the installation can take upwards of 20 minutes. So it's not going to be a 2-minute install. Of course, on this, I'm hoping that all the partitioning and everything else will just take place, and it is going to be a very short install, but we're going to see exactly how this works. Okay, it's saying it wants the initial pre-configuration file. In this case, it's got a couple of examples there. We're going to skip it and see what happens. Okay, English, United States, American English, root password. I'm going to make that password there. Make sure I typed that right. Sure did. Okay, good. And password. Make sure I typed that right. Yes, I did. Okay, great. Now I am using a rollout keyboard, so this is a little more difficult. User, student, yes. And for password, 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 there. Hopefully that'll work out for us. Okay, over here it's got guided, use the entire disk, or right down there, use the entire disk. We're going to go ahead and choose that. Now, unfortunately, it's going to try to, that's the disk partition right there. It's going to try to, I think, allocate about the same amount of RAM to a swap file. Yeah, there we go. We got that 2 gig swap file there. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, go with it. Although I would not recommend giving yourself a 2 gig swap file. It's a waste of disk space on such a small drive. Okay, the install is continuing, so I'm hoping to get this video under about 5 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're at the point where you're able to choose your sysinit. So how you want to use, we're going to use a sys5 or sysv init right there. So we're going to go ahead and press enter. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. Okay, it says installation complete. Do you want to continue? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, let's continue. And it says make sure to remove the installation media so you boot into the new system rather than restarting the installation. So I'll choose continue, and as soon as the screen goes black, I'll pull out this USB. All right, the USB is out, and we're waiting for the system to boot up. There we go. We've got the Debian GNU Linux option automatically selected, and we're now booting into it. As this boots up, there will be a number of configuration changes that I'll make to the system. I have those over on GitHub under FreeBSD and Ubuntu for my prep in those. I'll probably be creating a prep for Debian in sometime in the near future, but at this point, I am just looking at the, of course, the Ubuntu and FreeBSD and GitHub, and this is a Debian install right there in front of us. Now, the first thing that you can see is it did give us a type of graphical interface here. So it is asking us to log into what looks to be a very light graphical interface. And so there you go. Now I've got a graphical interface. I'd like that, of course, removed because I don't want the utilization on my server. But that is the default automatic installation. Everything went through just fine, and Devuan is installed. Hope that you like it. Hope that you can use it, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.